junkies out there. I invite you to spend some time with me. I'm Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen Podcast Show.
Hey guys, this is Johnny Allen, the Johnny Allen Podcast / Videocast Show. I hope you guys are doing good out there with this, the pandemic going around the world and whatnot. It's pretty humbling, to know this whole thing's going. And I've talked about that in the last couple of podcasts, and I don't have a lot to say about that right now, so stay safe and we'll get through it. Today, though, I just want to share something that's pretty humbling and sobering and a little away from what's going on now, but it kind of interacts with it, but it's a different subject. It's something very personal that's just happened to me in the last week. Well, first of all, I'm walking to one of my favorite parks. I'm actually off work today. My boss gave me 3 days off, and I'll explain that here in just a second. I want to bring awareness to life, and I want to bring awareness to cherishing things. I stress it a lot every podcast, but I especially want to stress it today. It is Thursday. I'll be in the studio later today doing the podcast. You guys will see that, but anyway, I'm going to cut to the chase here. It's been a very tough week for me. A matter of taking my spiritual walk to try to deal with the reality of what happened to me this past few days, actually last week. I had lost a really good friend, almost like a brother, that I've known since 1979, suddenly. He passed away this time last week, actually a week ago. I just went to his funeral yesterday. My boss was gracious enough to let me have yesterday off and the rest of the week. She said, just go ahead and have the rest of the week. Because people say, well, it's just a friend. Well, the friend, like I said, I've known him since 1979 and had shared a lot of great memories together for years. He was at both of them. He was in my weddings. I was in his weddings. He was my best man. And we were like brothers. And my brother and I were real close to him. But anyway, he lost his life last week, and I said my last goodbyes to him yesterday. And the reason why I say this is not to be sorrowful or whatever. I am sad about it. It was very unexpected. It was something that could have been prevented, if you know what I mean, without going into the details. Anyway, life is short, people, and we just have to enjoy every day. Like I said, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I'm still very saddened by the passing of my friend. Like I say, he's like a brother. We'd go on to camping trips every year, and he was one of the main guys that went with us every year. Kind of planned it, actually, helped plan them. Don't want to go into a lot of detail. Some of you watching my podcast may know who I'm talking about. It's just a sad situation. The thing is, life gets you down, guys. Don't stay there. You don't have to stay there. Especially I know right now it's a troubling time with this pandemic and everything, but don't stay there. If you're feeling sad, depressed, whatever, please go get help. If you have regrets in life or whatever, talk to somebody about it. Don't hold that stuff in. It's just hard to do that. I recommend not doing that. Please go get help. I can't emphasize that enough. It's very hard on everybody, hard on the family. I know it was hard on my friend. He must have been going through a lot. It's just very sad. But in the sadness, I just want, like I said, I want to make awareness. I want to bring up awareness. If you know somebody that's having a tough time psychologically, please do what you can to reach out. Felt like with my buddy that we reached out to him kept a lot in, though. We didn't know. We didn't know that what was deep in his mind. But I'm just sharing the walk today. I hope you guys are having a great day and getting through all this stuff. And my main message is, like I said, stay positive through all this rough times and roughness. I call it roughness that we're going through, the evil in the world right now, the uncertainty, all these things. I do believe this is going to pass, like everything does. But just hang in there, just hang in there. Don't get caught up in all this gloom and doom so much, and life will get better. And if you're having troubles, like I said, please go get some help. And chemical and alcoholism and chemical abuses do not help the situation, folks. It does not help it. Like I said, it's a sobering podcast today. I want to bring awareness to mental health, actually, today. And I'm enjoying the walk and trying to basically decompress and analyze it myself of what had just happened last week. Like I said, my brother and I and my stepson, we were all together just a month ago, March 1st, actually, a little over a month ago. We were all together and everything seemed fine. So it's tough to lose someone you really care about, a loved one, a close friend. We've all been there and experienced it. Like I said, I'm going to get back in the studio. I'll send here in a little bit, and I'll, of course, share some more when I'm in the house. But, yeah, once again, just keep your heads up, keep a positive attitude, guys, and God rest my friend's soul. It was very unexpected. But anyway, I'm going to get back in the studio, and we'll discuss this subject a little bit more. You guys have a great day. Hey, and the show does start now. I'm your host, Johnny Allen. This is the Johnny Allen Podcast / videocast show, where you can see me on the same Facebook, Johnny Allen Podcast Show, or YouTube, Johnny Allen Podcast Show. Thanks for joining in today. Today is April the 16th, 2020. April 16th. And as we know, it's weird times we live in, right, guys? Weird times. I know you saw that clip, okay? I opened the show up with that today because it's very humbling of what I went through yesterday, today, and probably for a few days to follow. Quite a bit of time. My dear friend, we terribly missed. Like I said on the walk, I've known him since 1979. Almost like a brother. We used to work on cars together. We played golf. We worked together. He got me introduced to golf years ago. And it's ironic, I really don't play it that much anymore. But I used to back in the day. I used to play golf. Fishing, camping. Just one of those friends. And him and my brother, my biological brother, Mike, and myself, and the dearly departed friend, we're like this, went through a lot of trials and tribulations together. I got good times, some sad times, but I almost have to say yesterday was one of the saddest days of my life. It's just kind of amazing how you come in contact with certain people and you lose contact with certain people and throughout your life, and certain people you keep in contact with from the time you meet and become friends with. And this was one of those individuals. So my deepest condolences to the family, the close friends. We're going to feel a lot of pain for a while. We just pray that we heal from it. And like I said, my thoughts and condolences are with his family. So some of you that are viewing may know, some of you may not. But, God rest his soul. And that's
what I got to say about that. Like I said, he'll be deeply missed. And as you saw the clip, it's a pretty emotional time right now. It's a pretty emotional time for everybody because obviously the pandemic. And the pandemic may have been or contributed to a little bit of what happened to my friend. It's hard to say. Could have been a lot of things. But it brings up awareness today, and I want to talk about awareness. I was looking for a subject to talk about, and I was actually going to talk about this a while back, but this is an appropriate time really to talk about it since it's fresh on our minds, the people that knew my dear friend. Uh, mental health awareness. Not to be talking too much about my friend, but I know that he would battle depression off and on for a while, had his up days and his down days. So I want to make the podcast today an awareness of that and to stay close with people. Like I said, it's April the 16th, 2020. If you got your coffee, let's get it out. Today's podcast, like I said, is dedicated to my long lost friend. So we're going to talk about, and like I said, may he rest in peace. We're going to talk about mental awareness, preventions, things that we can do, and I got these written down, the talking points. And like I said on the walk, and I say this quite a bit, let's reach out to people, especially with the time of this pandemic. Now, we know that this thing is not going to last forever. You hear a lot of doom and gloom about it, and some people are like, oh my gosh, it's going on for a month and a half now, and it hasn't even been 2 months yet, and is it ever going to end? And if you guys know, I work in a healthcare facility, and I was fortunate enough to be able to have half of the week off because, quite frankly, even before I found out the tragic news about my friend, I was getting a little burned out, a little anxiety myself over just the whole COVID-19 and working on the front lines of the healthcare industry. So it's a well-deserved break. My thoughts and prayers are with my cohorts still working, my fellow men and women working at the hospital. You guys stay safe, and I'll be back there Monday. It's a tough thing right now. But what I want to share with you today is that we need to be aware of what's going on. We need to take it and do the best we can with the situations that we are dealt with. If you see somebody really suffering, a family friend or a family member or close friend, rather, please reach out to them. Do what you can. If you're having bad thoughts yourself, you're breaking down mentally, go get help. Do not wait. Don't use alcohol or drugs to, cure it. That only makes it worse. Go talk to a professional, and you can talk to them online. Go talk to a close friend, a family member. Stay up, stay positive. This is eventually going to go away, and things will be back to quote unquote normal. And even if they're not like totally normal, rather, we can adjust. We can adjust to new situations. We have to really cherish life, people. I say this all the time, and it's so true, and it just hit home like yesterday. Cherish every moment we have with each other because we never know when it's going to end. So it's so vastly important that we do that. We've all suffered through having loved ones pass away. I have another good close friend of mine that's battled a lot of personal things happening right now. Losses. I won't name any names, but the thing I've learned about this, and I've done it even before this tragedy happened with my friend, I've been reaching out to a lot of people, everybody I know, at least with a little text or saying, hey, how you doing? Even people I haven't talked to for a long time. I think it's real important to reach out to people and say, just give them an acknowledgement of, hey, how you doing? Just wonder how you doing. Are you doing okay? And if you're battling something internally, don't hold it in. If you trust in good friends that you've known forever or family members, don't be afraid. Tell them what's going on. Say, listen, I don't want to bother you with my burdens, but I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling suicidal, whatever it is. Let them know. Please let them know. No matter how hard things get in life, guys and gals, and when I say guys, I mean everybody, both genders, of course. No matter how hard things get in life, and life, believe me, gets pretty freaking hard. And I'm watching my language, but it gets pretty hard. We've all gone through a lot of things. There's people out there that'll listen. There's people out there that can identify with what you've gone through. There's ways of getting help. Because once you make a decision that's a bad decision, there's no second chances. Okay? There's no second chances. There's no like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. We don't get a second chance, folks. And the thing is, I've learned on, I'll just say, what happened in premature deaths, deaths that didn't have to happen. It's hard enough to understand deaths that happen naturally, but things that are premeditated because you're feeling very bad and you feel like there's no other way out. Just remember, if you're thinking about something like that, don't do it because, I mean, for one, there's a second chance. There's always a second chance. There's always hope, no matter how gleam things look, right? There's always hope. And the people that it affects, the ones you think, well, you think I don't have anybody, no one cares or whatever, that's wrong. It affects the family and the ones that are still here forever and ever, for the rest of their lives. There's a scar going to be there the rest of your life. So you got to think about the other people too. It's not just about you, right? And take care of you. I mean, please go get some help if you guys are having any problems. And I know with this COVID-19 thing right now, it's got a lot of people on edge, a lot of people with anxiety, a lot of people depressed, a lot of people wondering where they're going to get their next paycheck if they haven't gotten one. They're wondering a lot of things. They're wondering when it's going to end. There's all these thoughts and all this pressure and depression and anxiety. Anxiety probably the big thing. Worry, they all go together. Remain calm and be smart. And use your heads, and we'll get through this. And I'm not a religious program. I've said this before. I'm a man of faith, right? I mean, I have faith. And there's nothing wrong with having faith. Say some prayers. Have some faith. We got to do that, people. We got to do that through these times. It's a rough time right now, but we're going to get over it. The good news is, since I do work in a healthcare facility, I see it every day in real life, what's going on, right? I know where we're at, that we have reached the plateau, and as of Friday, or as of Tuesday, we're actually decreasing, the cases are decreasing of the COVID-19 admits. So decreasing is good. It's optimistic. It's good. It's going in the right direction. Now, by me saying that, if you got problems with what's going on now, they talked about, the alcohol consumption is going up because of it. People getting depressed, they got to drink, they can't cope, blah, 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 blah. Can understand that sometimes. I've been guilty of, throwing some stuff down once in a while, not all the time. But listen, really, substance abuse and alcohol abuse is not going to help. I don't care what you say. It's not going to help. It's going to make it worse. So just be really careful with that. If you have a drink to take the edge off, maybe 1, 2, whatever. If you feel like it helps, fine, but don't abuse it. And I do question, and I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be. I don't claim to know it all. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just an average guy that observes things. I've been here 56 years on the planet. I've seen a few things. I can only tell you what I observed and what I'm observing, rather, and what's going on. And I have seen people taking these anti-anxiety pills, Prozac, and all this stuff for depression. I've never had to take it, thankfully, and I don't think I ever will. But sometimes they prescribe these drugs to help people, and it has the adverse effect. It makes it worse, or it can cause you to do bad things. Everybody's chemical makeup is different. Drugs are going to be different. Even prescribed, I'm talking about prescribed drugs especially, are going to be different on people. So just be really careful with that stuff. If you have problems and you feel like you need, and your doctors just prescribe these antidepressant and anxiety meds, just be real careful. Monitor yourself. You know yourself. You know how you're feeling. You know if you're feeling a little different or whatever. So just be real careful with it because it can have an adverse effect. And unfortunately, I think a lot of things added up with my friend that the result ended up tragic. And I do not want that to happen to anybody else. I know, unfortunately, I probably will, especially with the pandemic, but really think twice about it. I have really have a whole new mindset. I've always been aware of mental illness and depression and things like that. Suicide, to be quite blunt. I've always been aware of it, but it's never hit home until yesterday. And here's the thing. We need to be really aware of that stuff, especially now with COVID-19. And the weird, ironic thing is I read just and saw on the news just like last week that how the suicide rates are going up because of this pandemic. Just go get help. If you can't handle something, please go get help. That's all I beg you to do if you're watching. Thanks again for watching and subscribing. Let's get the coffee out and have another swig. I want to start having, and I will promise start having upbeat podcasts. It's just been a weird time. It's like when things happen, they all happen at once. It seems like things just, anybody that knows me, I'm sort of an emotional type of guy anyway. But with my faith, I pretty much can put things into perspective and why, and not really know why maybe necessarily, but understand or comprehend and reason things out, why things happen and how to deal with them basically. So I'm dealing with this. I count my blessings for the things I do have, and of course I still have life, and I thank the Creator every day I have life. I'm thankful for my wife. I'm thankful for the things, like I say, I do have right now. Even though I work in an environment that's iffy right now and very scary as far as the pandemic goes, but at least I'm fortunate to have a job. Some people don't even have a job right now. And, we just have to be thankful for what we have. And I tell you what, the power of positive thinking is going to get us out of this mess that the dark side, I should say, has created. And whether you believe that or not, I do believe that. I believe in positive energy and negative energy. This virus, obviously, and pandemics and things of that nature, and depression, mental health issues, suicide, things like that, is getting a hold of negative energy, just bombarding yourself. It's all negative energy. We have to stay with the positive energy to counteract all this negative energy. It's very important for everybody, the masses, to stay very positive and focused, and do not let this evil that has hit the planet destroy what we enjoy and what we love. And that really is it. And we have to stay focused. And we get bombarded by negativity all over the place. And my talking points I'm going down my talking points list that I want to talk about today, okay? Okay, and then again, and how is this COVID-19 affecting the brain? How's it affecting our thought processes? Comment below if you guys have any comments on anything I'm talking about today. I'm talking about mental awareness and staying positive and focused. And if you have problems, please go get help. Go get help, please. Comment below. COVID-19, how's it affecting the mental psyche? I'm talking about, a lot of anxiety and things like that. How you guys coping with it? Let's stay positive with this thing. Like I said, we'll see we'll get to the end of it. We just got to stay on the track and focus. Now, to my next talking point I have is the good old press, the good old news, the good old press out there. They mean well. Okay, they mean well. I'm pretty sure they mean well. They try to report accurately. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Of course, we've had just Trump's been in office, the fake news thing going around. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to talk too much about that at all. I don't have an opinion on it. I do, but I won't share it. Here's the thing. The thing I got to say about the press. They have a job to do. They try to do it. In a way, they're kind of entertainment. That's how they make their money. They have to get viewers. Right? I don't have to get viewers. I'm just doing this because the love of doing it. And I like to talk and I like to share. And I like feedback from people. I don't make any money on this thing. So I'm not really considered the press. Nor do I want to be the press. But I got to talk about the press. And I got to be aware. I got to make awareness of the press. they survive on stories. They survive on viewers, people subscribing to their channel or their news organization or what have you. That's their money making. That's their business, is to report stories. And they have to get the stories that are happening now, and they have to get the interesting stories and the exciting stories. And what that means it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. Usually it's negative. They have to get shocking news and keep you hooked on it, right? So, with the COVID-19 comes around, because remember, it was all about President Trump. I'm going to run over a little bit today because of my clip at the beginning. That's okay. I'm almost done, guys. Hang in. So, remember, the big story was President Trump. From the time that he said he was going to run till now. He's still a big part of it. He actually, in a way, is really helping the press. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. Like I said, that doesn't matter to me. The facts is the press is driven by Donald Trump. They love Donald Trump. They love to bash him, whatever. Because they're making money on it. Somebody quoted it the other day that, the news anymore, and even Washington, which I have to agree with it, is like the days of our lives. And I've said that way back. It's true. We don't have the politicians and the dignity in the White House and the government and the press and all that like we used to. Like Walter Cronkite. They talked about Walter Cronkite, for instance. That's what it was. Whether he was right or left, liberal or whatever, it didn't really matter. He was straightforward. And if he made a mistake, he apologized for it. Today, the press does not do that. It is the days of our lives in the press. I will watch every once in a great while. I will watch a live briefing from the White House for Trump's up there. And like I said, I don't care if you like him or not. But to listen to this press ask the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. It's just, anyway, in a nutshell, the press is a money-making machine that thrives on entertainments and to keep you drawn in. So basically, it's an entertainment program. It's not news reporting like the days of Walter Cronkite. It's you guys that are too young to remember him, go look him up on Google. Go check out some old YouTubes. Those days are over, unfortunately, for the press. Now, where it relates to COVID-19 and depression and people going off the deep end, and killing themselves and things like that, and people hoarding the shelves and pulling everything out of the grocery stores and acting ridiculous and spitting on stuff and all this crazy stuff that they do, and the anxiety and the depression and everything, and I got to blame it on one thing. I'm going to blame it on one thing, and I don't care if you don't like it or not, but I'm going to blame it on one thing. The reason why people are acting the way they're acting, and the reason why they're down the way they're down, and they're doing what they're doing, is the press. You guys. Because you are instilling the fear into the public. Whether the story be true or not. You can release the story accurately, whether it's true or not, whether it's scary or not. I get it. Lay it out there once or twice. Don't keep bombarding the media and the masses with all this negativity, because it causes chaos, it causes depression, it causes suicides, it causes a lot of bad things, and I am blaming, that's right, the press. Because, for example, they'll say, well, we got a couple meat factories, they got a bunch of COVID-19 people, they got the disease, and they got to, get them out of the factories, and it probably will cause a meat shortage. So what happens? They put that story out there, everybody immediately goes to your local supermarket and drains the shelves of all the freaking meat. Causes panic and chaos and disaster. And yes, I'm a little upset with that. They continually bash the President of the United States. Now, whether you're a fan of him or not, I don't care. But the man is doing what he is best that he knows how to do. And if he's lacking in some things, give him some support. Make some suggestions in a nice way. That maybe we could do it this way. We need to bond together. I've told this many times before. We have to bond together as a nation, a world, a civilization, a human race, okay, to rid the evil and the negativity of the world. And for example, the press, whether they mean to do it or not, I think sometimes they mean to do it, feed it. And otherwise, the reason why they feed it is because they're, lining their pockets with the cash. While you're all laid off and no work and everything and worrying and panicking and fretting, my good friend that passed, he was worried about COVID-19. He was worried about his stock market falling. Last conversation I had with him, like 3 weeks ago now. 2 weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Not that long ago. Last conversation I had him when he was worried about his stock market. He was worried. He called it anxiety. Because they always report all the bad stuff. Like I said, you gotta do the job. They gotta report on the stuff, whether it be bad, good, or indifferent. I get that. But quit kicking that dead horse. You can report at one time that, listen, okay, social distancing, the things we need to do to get rid of the pandemic. We've had pandemics in it before, and to some news outlets, they are doing that. But there's usually the ones that are on the internet are doing it. It's not the big 3 or 4 or how many we got. I don't even pay attention to anymore. Not sweet coffee. If you guys can tell, I'm kind of somber today and a little bit upset. I am. But I'm still positive, and I want you guys to be positive. I feel like it's unnecessary for the press to be constantly doing what they're going to do. I mean, I turn on the radio going to work, and it's like, okay, I really just want to hear the weather forecast. I understand about the COVID virus. Maybe it's hopefully going down a little bit. And that's all you hear about. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, no, it's going up. It's going to spike. It's going to spike here. It's going to peak here. It's going to curve here. It's going to blah, blah, blah. So I turn it off. I go to work. Turn the radio back on. Same thing. Oh, we got to think about it, It's a real deal. I'm not foo-fooing it off. I did early. I said that before a couple months ago. I was kind of foo-fooing it. Thinking they were exaggerating, but they do exaggerate the bad stuff, and they keep constantly feeding our minds with all this bombardment of negativity. So don't let it get to you. Get the facts, stay calm, do what we're supposed to do, like I said, and we'll get through it. Okay? And it might be a little changes down the road, but we'll have to adjust and go. Anyway, that's all I got today, guys. Like I said, where faith comes in, if you don't have faith, keep the faith. If you're having some problems up here, if you're feeling like you're being overwhelmed with everything that's going on, take a break, talk to a professional, do something. A loved one, reach out. Loved ones reach out to each other. Friends reach out to each other. Make sure we're doing okay. Even after this is over, make sure we're doing okay. I learned a lesson. Kind of woke, well, not a lesson, just really opened my eyes of what happened, last week. Reach out to people, and, you don't know really what's going on. And if you're having problems, like I said, open up about it. Don't keep it all in. Because people do care. We have a lot of caring people out there, and they are willing to help you out, and it's a shame what happened to my friend because, looking forward to doing a lot of fun things in the future, and it's just sad. So let's look over our family and friends. Let's check on them. If you're having problems, please address them. Don't think there's no hope, because there's always hope. And remember, once you shut that door, you make that decision. There's no redos, people. Please go get some help if you're having some problems, okay? And I think that's where faith comes in. Faith helps me. Faith helps me. It may not help you. Maybe do something else, but I highly recommend faith. I'm not saying you have to be a quote-unquote religious person, but just have some faith. If you look at every civilization around, they have some type of faith. They pray to God. They may call God different names, but they pray to God. Okay? All right, lastly, guys, and I want to use the word stay. I want to, stay safe, guys. And I'm going to borrow that from Tyler from Secure Team. You guys probably don't know who Tyler's Secure Team is. You might. He runs a YouTube channel called Secure Team 10, I think. And I just want to end with this. And it's a UFO alien conspiracy kind of thing. And it is a great channel. 2 million people, whatever. But he got into some personal. He got into some personal problems. He had some personal problems. Everybody can have problems. And it looks like he's getting help and he's back online. And you know what? People gave him a bunch of crap like, oh, he did this, he did that, he got arrested, whatever. They put it out on the internet for people to see. Thing is, when people get down, people have a tendency just to kick them. Don't do that. Help them. Help people out. Tyler went through some stuff, and I hope and pray, and I actually did pray for the guy, even though I don't know him personally. I hope and pray that he's coming back and that he cured his demons, whatever they were. He got his problems fixed, and he's good. So anyway, I know it's kind of a sober, the last two, especially this one, sobering podcast, and like I said, rest your soul, my friend. And I wasn't going to talk about this today at all, but like I said, I got the news last week, and it was tragic news, and I have to bring awareness to that. So I know times are tough right now, but we get back on the road. Please support mental health awareness in whatever way you want. There's a lot of charitable donations. I know I'm going to give. Support people that are having some problems, and right now, especially with the pandemic, like I said, a lot of people are having problems. So thanks again. I know I ran over a little bit, but thanks again for liking and subscribing. Keep your coffee going, drinking. I want to take a shout out to Tim up there in Michigan, to his coffee company. I will link next week. I'll link his coffee on here. I'm getting ready to order some coffee from Tim up there in Michigan. He's got a coffee company. I don't know the name of it right now. I apologize off the top of my head, but I will plug his coffee and let you guys know. I like to support the local folks and my friends that I know. A swig to my friend. And boy, God bless you and rest your soul. Now, we are going to miss him. I don't want that to happen to anybody else. If we can prevent it, let's reach out to people. And like I said, I can't stress it enough, guys. You're probably tired of hearing me saying it. I can't stress it enough. If you got problems, please go get help. That's all I got to say. Please go get it. Anyway, y'all take care. I love all my viewers. I love people in general. They get on my nerves sometimes, but I love people. I love people. Okay. Let's take care of the planet. Let's take care of each other. We'll get through this, all right? All right, guys. God willing, I'll see you next Thursday on the Johnny Young Podcast / Videocast show. And I'm going to borrow this from Tyler. Stay safe, guys. That's not mine. That's Tyler's from Security. But he's right. Stay safe, guys. And I'll see you next week.